Send me $2,100 for prom, my niece texted. Mom said, "You've got plenty." I replied, "Earn it." Minutes later, my sister warned, "Pay or you're cut off." That night, I canceled their mortgage autopay. By 8:05, 63 missed calls flooded my phone. This isn't vengeance. This is the quiet, fierce reclaiming of my own peace. They called me a phantom, then heartless, finally a villain. But the truth? What truly enraged them was the solitary, resounding no that finally escaped my lips. That no began as so many seismic shifts do, with a simple text message, a demand for an absurdly priced prom dress. A message that didn't just rattle my world, but fundamentally fractured it, exposing the stark, brutal reality of betrayal. I am Owen, 31 years old, and for the vast majority of my existence, I was the quiet, unassuming middle child. You know the archetype, the dependable anchor, the one who arrives first, instinctively troubleshoots the router, and holds the collective memory of forgotten passwords. I wasn't the favored child, nor was I the problematic one. I was merely the steadfast presence, propping up the entire structure with sheer stubbornness and a heap of unspoken sacrifices. My profession is in hospital administration, a role I genuinely enjoy. I thrive on order, lists, meticulously balanced budgets, unwavering routines. Coffee at precisely 6:10 a.m., at my desk by 7:40, tickets cleared, then home to a serene apartment where my plants, against all odds, flourish under my care. I rarely drink. I seldom post online. I am the default contact for anything mundane, anything requiring methodical attention. This quiet utility solidified into my identity years ago. It transcended mere role-playing. It became the unpaid labor in a family that operated on an endless cycle of favors they steadfastly refused to name as such. Growing up, my older sister, Jenna, was the undisputed golden child. Homecoming queen, effortlessly charming, quick to collect friends, and even quicker to create messes that someone else, invariably, tidied up. Mom practically worshipped her. Jenna's got a bright future. She'd coup. She just needs a little help. That little help was always a monumental undertaking. My younger brother, Max, learned early to keep his head down, to mimic my silent compliance. And I learned to underwrite their lives without ever drawing attention to the cost. I wasn't born a walking ATM. It began subtly. At 18, I worked nights at a grocery store while Jenna was finding herself. $50 borrowed here, a heart emoji as a hollow receipt there. Mom would simply wave it away. "You know your sister," she'd say. "She'll pay you back when her life calms down." Her life, bless her heart, never, ever calmed down. The requests swelled. Car insurance, a security deposit, a forgotten phone bill. There was always a plausible reason, always a fleeting promise, followed by a silence so prolonged and profound that even contemplating an argument felt small, petty, undeserving of the effort. Then Dad died when I was 24. After the funeral, Mom cornered me in the hallway, right beside the hum of the laundry room. "I can't do this alone," she declared, her sorrow more of a performance than raw grief. I nodded numb. "We'll figure it out together," I mumbled, a promise that morphed into me with startling velocity. By 26, I was quietly covering minor expenses. By 28, significant sums bore my name. I rationalized it, telling myself I was staving off disaster, the sole adult in a room full of children. The simpler, harder truth? I simply dreaded being yelled at. Last month, Jenna's daughter, my niece Chloe, turned 17. She's bright, witty, and sometimes far too much like her mother. I buy her books. I'm in her laptop. I consciously avoid being the lecturing uncle. I strive to be the safe harbor, the one who shows up without making her feel like a burden. My story doesn't hinge on some dramatic betrayal or a shocking reading. No, it unfolded on an ordinary Tuesday evening in my kitchen. I was idly stirring pasta, utterly oblivious when my phone glowed. Max had just sent a photo of his cat, curled like a croissant. I was genuinely smiling at it when a new message appeared from an unknown number that, in reality, was intimately familiar. "Hey, Uncle O, Can you send me $2,100 for prom? I stared. I blinked. I read it again. $2,100 for prom. Another message popped up. Mom said you have enough. Hair, dress, nails, everything. I can pay you back once I start my summer job. My stomach plummeted, a weirdly weightless sensation, like missing a step in the dark. Anger hadn't ignited yet. Just a profound, bone-deep weariness that thrummed behind my eyes. Then Mom called. I let it ring twice, just to breathe before answering. Her voice, warm and practiced, chimed through the receiver. "Oh, and honey." Chloe reached out. I told her too. "You got enough right now, and this is special. Senior prom is once in a lifetime. Don't be difficult. Did you tell her to text me?" I asked, my voice flat, devoid of emotion. "I told her family helps family," she retorted, her tone implying I was the unreasonable one. "I expect you to do the right thing." In the background, I heard Jenna's distinct laugh, the clink of ice in a glass. Then a voice clear as day uttered, "He'll do it." That was the first true trigger. Not the figure, not the dress, but the sheer, brazen assumption. The audacity of, "You've got enough." As if my entire life was a communal purse. I slowly placed the spoon down, the pasta still stirring itself, and surveyed the immaculate lines of my kitchen, the bills meticulously clipped to the fridge, the calendar with its satisfying check marks. All the quiet order I had painstakingly constructed so they couldn't drag me under. I didn't respond. "Mom," I said, "I'll call back." I didn't. I stood there, phone vibrating in my hand, until the pasta turned to mush. My mind replayed every instance of "you've got enough," a phrase that had always meant, unequivocally, we are entitled to it. When my phone buzzed again, it wasn't Mom. It was Chloe. "Please." A photo of a dazzling dress followed. Then, before I could reply, a new message from Jenna's contact name. "We need the money tonight. Don't make this a thing." Something in my chest clicked. Not a violent snap, but a quiet, definitive click, like a lock finally turning into place. I learned to bear other people's burdens early. When Dad fell ill, Mom asked me to build a spreadsheet to track medications and bills. "You're good with numbers," she'd said. What she truly meant was, "You can be in charge." I didn't mind helping. I minded that help morphed into duty, and duty calcified into an unpayable debt. In our house, love often sounded like an invoice. After Dad passed, the mortgage became the lurking dragon in the corner. "We're a little behind," Mom would confess, which in reality meant months. The bank began sending ominous letters. Jenna would weep dramatically on the porch. Max would retreat, avoiding the kitchen entirely. And me? I picked up a second contract alongside my day job. I started freelancing server cleanups at night. When the bank threatened foreclosure, I painstakingly handled the refinancing paperwork. Then, I set their new mortgage on autopay from my account. Temporarily, Mom promised, until my finances stabilize. "Just 6 months. You'll barely notice." Oh, I noticed. You always notice a second mortgage. But I let it happen. Because every family dinner came with a sermon about sacrifice. Because every time I hesitated, Mom would tilt her head, her gaze making me feel like I'd failed a test I hadn't even known I was taking. Because Jenna would send a "You're a lifesaver," followed by a selfie with Chloe and a heart filter. Because Max would text, "You okay?" And I'd lie back, "Yeah, fine." The list grew. Phone plans, a blown transmission, 2 emergency room copays, a week's worth of groceries that inexplicably included designer candles. My credit score soared because I never missed a payment. Their expectations soared even faster. I remember the first time I attempted a no. Jenna had accidentally overdrawn her account by $380 buying festival tickets. She called me at work, weeping. "They're going to charge me fees and then more fees, and I'll drown." "You can return the tickets," I suggested, trying to be logical. Silence. Then a low, dramatic, "You're really going to do my summer over $300? I caved. I felt guilty for a week, and then that guilt, it calcified into something far uglier. Resentment. I tried to scrub it away with logic. "It's just this once. I don't want to listen to Mom call me cold." The problem with being dependable is that people stop seeing you as a person. You become an ATM with a familiar face. a ride that keeps running even when the meter's off. At 29, I paid off the last of my own student loans. I thought that would feel like breathing air for the first time. Instead, it felt like a flashing sign above my head. Available funds. Mom's language subtly shifted. Since you're debt-free, she'd begin, and I would brace myself. I tried to establish small boundaries. I removed Mom from my Amazon account. I flatly refused to co-sign Jenna's second car. I told Chloe she could text me for school matters, but not for her mother's bills. Those lines held until the next emergency, then blurred into the familiar fog of guilt, and only you can help. One night last year, Max called me from a parking lot, his voice a strained whisper. "They're fighting again," he said. "Mom told Jenna she has to start acting like an adult," and I prompted. "Jenna said she's acting like an adult because she asks you instead of strangers." He laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You know what Mom told her? Owen has enough." I sat in my car outside my apartment, my jaw locked. Not anger, but something flatter, like when a computer program freezes and you don't bother clicking, you just wait for it to crash. I started tallying numbers in my notes app. 12 months of mortgage payments, utilities, random medical bills. The total made my stomach lurch. I scrolled backward. 5 years. A second, staggering total. I stared at it until the digits lost all meaning. If it had been a friend, I would have called it exploitation. Because it was my family, I called it love. There were small humiliations that stung more acutely than the actual checks. Mom would post photos of family dinners I'd paid for, with saccharine captions like blessed and never, ever tag me. Jenna would swan and late in a rideshare and quip, "Our family CFO is here." And everyone would laugh. When I finally bought my own new car, a sensible hybrid I'd meticulously saved for, Mom remarked, "Wow, luxury," as if she was already mentally spending its value. Max, in his quiet way, tried to acknowledge it. He'd Venmo me $20 with a note like for putting up with us. He'd ask, "You know, you don't have to, right?" And I'd say, "I know," and then keep doing it. He kept his head down because that's how he survived. I kept my head down because it's hard to lift it when you're carrying 4 other heads. Boundaries, my coworker Maya had said once, after I'd shared a heavily sanitized version of my life. Say the word out loud. "Boundaries," I whispered. "Louder," she urged. I couldn't make my voice rise. So, when Chloe's text arrived, $2,100 for prom, hair, nails, dress, limo, shoes, everything, wasn't simply about a dress. It was about the casual ease with which everyone reached for me without ever truly seeing me. It was about the way Mom had declared, "You've got enough," as if she were reading my banking app over my shoulder. It was about how they had meticulously trained me to believe love was measured in wire transfers. My phone kept buzzing that Tuesday. "Chloe again. Aunt Tessa's girl spent $3K last year. I don't want to be the only one looking cheap." A prom mood board followed. Spray tan, rhinestone clutch, makeup trial, photographer. Then Jenna. "We need the money tonight. Prices go up tomorrow." Then Mom, escalating, "Don't make this difficult. Owen, don't embarrass your niece. You, of all people, know what it's like to be invisible." Invisible. That word landed like a cold, hard coin in my gut. The funny thing about invisibility is you can see everything while no one sees you. I typed, erased. My thumbs hovered. In the end, I sent Chloe 4 words. "Earn it, kiddo." "Oh," she replied, with a string of question marks. Jenna followed with a furious paragraph. "I told her you'd pay." Pay? Or you're cut off. Cut off from what? The privilege of covering their entire life. I placed the phone face down and listened to the water running in the sink. My apartment was quiet in a way that made me hyper-aware of my own breathing. I could hear the neighbor's TV through the wall, a sitcom laugh track repeating every 20 seconds. It felt obscene. The family group chat, 7:22 p.m., Jenna. "Since Owen wants to humiliate Chloe, everyone can see who he really is." Mom, "Owen, call me." Max, "Maybe we could talk." Jenna, "Stay out of it." Max to Jenna, "Privately, I'm not paying $2,100 for prom." Jenna, "You're rich. Stop acting poor." Me, "I'm not rich. I'm responsible." Jenna, "Same thing. Send it." Me, "No." She called. I let go to voicemail. Then Mom called. Then Chloe. Then Mom again. At 7:54 p.m., Mom texted, "If you don't want to help Chloe, that's your choice. But actions have consequences. Don't forget whose name is on certain things." I stared at that message for a long time. My name was on their mortgage autopay. My name was on the emergency credit card Chloe sometimes used quietly because she deserved dignity even if her mother didn't. My name was on the stupid Hulu account everyone fought over like it was gold. I'd done all of that on purpose once because I thought control would make me feel safe. It didn't. It made me responsible for messes I didn't create. At 8:11 p.m., Jenna again. "Hey, we're cut off." I typed from what? 3 dots. No answer. An hour later, Mom called and I answered. She skipped a greeting. "Hello. You're being cruel," she said, her voice taut with indignation. "You're punishing Chloe for my choices. Don't use a child to make a point." "I'm not punishing anyone," I said, my voice calm, steady. "I'm stopping." "Stopping what?" Her voice sharpened, bordering on a shout. "Everything," I said. Calm, like laying a card on a table. "I'm done being your bank. I'm done being your backup plan. I'm done paying a mortgage on a house I don't live in while being told you've got enough. You promised your father you'd take care of us," she snapped, trying to weaponize guilt one last time. "I promised I'd help," I said. And I did. For years. I took a breath, letting the silence hang, heavy and pregnant. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure. Silence. I could hear her breathing. I could hear a subtle shift, perhaps a glass clinking somewhere. I could hear my own heartbeat thrumming in my ear. "You will regret this," she said finally, each word clipped and cold. "I already regret not doing it sooner," I replied. Then I hung up. I logged into my bank. I opened the autopay dashboard I'd set up 3 years earlier, the one with their mortgage circled like a distant planet I orbited. I hovered over the toggle that had always been green. My hands weren't shaking. That surprised me. I thought they would. I clicked it off. A warning popped up. "Are you sure?" I clicked yes. Then I removed my card from the emergency account Chloe sometimes used quietly because she deserved dignity even if her mother didn't. I left the Hulu, let them keep the sitcom laugh track. I sat in the dark, the monitor's glow fading, and waited for a wave of panic that never came. What arrived instead was a steady, quiet calm, like a fan finally switching off in a room you hadn't realized was loud. I slept well for the first time in months. At 8:05 the next morning, my phone displayed 63 missed calls. Mom, Jenna, unknown numbers, 1 from the bank, 2 from Max. The group chat had 112 messages, most variations on answer your phone. I made coffee. I fed the plants. I sat at my small table and opened my notes app. I wrote a list titled, "What I pay for that isn't mine." Then I wrote another list titled, "What I choose." At 8:17, Max texted, "You okay?" Me? Yeah. Max, they're melting down. Me, I know. Max, you really turned off the mortgage? Me, yes. Max, proud of you. The thing about stopping is that people who benefited from your momentum will try to push you again. They will tell you your brakes are broken. They will tell you stopping is dangerous. They will tell you that because you've always moved, moving is love. Wednesday afternoon, Mom showed up at my work. Security called up. "Your mother is here," the guard said, tentative, like he'd been handed a live bomb. I met her in the lobby. She wore her courtroom face, the one she uses for coaxing discounts at customer service. "We need to talk," she said, her voice low and menacing. "We're in a hospital lobby," I stated, calm as anything. "Talk." She folded her arms. "You embarrass me. The bank called. Do you know how that felt? Like accountability?" I asked. "Like betrayal," she snapped. "After everything I've done for you." I kept my voice even. "What have you done for me lately that didn't come with a bill?" Her mouth opened and closed. She switched tactics. "Your niece is devastated." Jenna had to tell her she can't go to prom now. "That's not true," I said, cutting her off. I said she can go. She just can't buy $500 shoes and a $300 spray tan and a $1,200 dress in one night. She can work. I did. "That's cruel." "It's reality," I said. "And it's a lesson I wish someone had given Jenna sooner." "We're family," she said, softer now, attempting sympathy. "Family helps. Family also respects boundaries," I countered. You've spent 5 years treating my paycheck like a group project. It isn't. Her eyes narrowed. Fine. If you won't help, don't expect invitations. Don't expect to be part of anything. I expect honesty, I said. I expect gratitude. I expect you to stop telling people Owen has enough like it's a coupon. I took out a folded sheet of paper from my pocket. I printed my list. Here, this is everything I've paid since Dad died. Mortgage totals, utilities, medical, groceries, cars. I'm not asking for it back. I'm asking for recognition that it happened. She didn't take the paper. She looked at it like it might bite. You kept track. Of course I kept track, I said. No one else did. She left, angry and empty-handed. An hour later, Jenna posted a story, a photo of Chloe's tear-streaked face, captioned, "When a grown man ruins your senior year." I didn't engage. I turned off my phone for an hour and stared at a blank wall until the urge to explain myself passed. Max came over that night with takeout. He kicked off his shoes and looked at my plants like they were new. "You really did it?" he said. "I guess," I replied. He nodded. "I told Mom, if she keeps calling you, I'm blocking her for a week." He shrugged. Small boundary. We ate in companionable silence. He asked, "You okay being the villain for a while?" "I've been the villain before," I said. For not smiling enough. For buying a car that wasn't old. For saying no to a second phone line. Villainy seems flexible. He laughed. "Chloe texted me," he said. "She asked if prom was really off." "And what did you say?" "I told her to ask you about jobs." Chloe did text. "What jobs are good?" I sent her a list. Weekend shifts at the bookstore. A tutoring center that needed math help. A cafe that tipped well. She didn't answer that night. The next morning, she sent, "The bookstore called me back." A beat later, "Do you think the red dress is too much?" She included a different photo. A cheaper dress. "Still pretty. I can pay half if you put in for shoes," she wrote. "Deal." I texted back. 50. You keep receipts. For the first time in days, I smiled without feeling guilty for it. Mom, meanwhile, escalated. She called my aunt, my grandmother, my dad's best friend. My phone filled with messages that all sounded the same. "We're worried about the family. It's just money. You'll regret this when your mother is gone." I replied, once to everyone at once in the group chat. "I love you all. I'm not discussing my finances with anyone but me. I will not be paying the mortgage. I will not be funding prom. Chloe and I have made an arrangement she agreed to. Please respect that. Future attempts to shame me will result in blocks." Jenna fired back immediately. "You're heartless. You like control. You like watching us squirm." I typed and deleted 3 responses, then landed on the only thing that felt true. "I like peace," I wrote, "and I'm choosing it." 2 days later, the bank sent a late notice to Mom. She forwarded it to me with, "Look what you did." I didn't reply. It wasn't my name on the loan. It was my money on the autopay. Those are different things. On Friday, I met with a therapist for the first time. Maya had slipped me a car months back. "Just try 1 session," she'd said. The therapist's office was quiet, full of plants like mine. I sat on her couch and told her I felt like I'd stepped off a moving treadmill and my legs still thought they were running. She asked, "What do you want your life to look like if your family never changes?" No one had ever framed it like that. "Content," I said. "Honest mind," she nodded. "Then your job isn't to make them change. It's to hold your line. Holding a line is harder than drawing it." The next week, Mom called only 3 times. Jenna called twice. Chloe texted me a photo of a pair of shoes she'd found on sale, with the caption, "Earned." I sent her a thumbs up and, because I'm me, asked for the receipt. Max and I started a habit. Sunday mornings, coffee at my place, phones face down. We talked about stuff that wasn't family. Work, his cat. The world felt bigger when I wasn't measuring it in emergencies. The first month without the autopay, Mom posted a vague status. "Sometimes the people you raise disappoint you. I didn't take the bait." The second month, she texted, "I'm selling the SUV." I replied, "That sounds responsible." Responsibility looked different on them. Jenna picked up extra shifts at the bar. She complained loudly. She still found a way to buy a new jacket. People like Jenna always do, but the calls slowed. The demands softened from now to if you can. I answered no to both. At Chloe's prom, she sent me a bathroom mirror selfie. Red dress, simple hair, a shy smile. Thank you for the ride, she wrote, meaning the shoes, the bookstore tip, the quiet push toward dignity. You did the work, I wrote back. You look great. Be safe. She sent a heart. Not the filtered kind. The real gray-eyed message one that means got it. A month after everything, Mom asked to meet somewhere public. We chose a diner. She arrived with a folder. I arrived with low expectations. I wanted to apologize, she said, and then immediately added, for how you took things. Old habits. We can stop there, I said. She sighed. You changed. I grew, I said. There's a difference. She slid the folder across the table. Inside was a budget, actual numbers, a list of expenses with her handwriting next to each item. The bank helped, she said, almost embarrassed. Max sat with me. I felt something unclench in my shoulders. Good, I said. She looked at me like she was trying to read code. I don't like seeing you as the bad guy, she said. I don't like playing that part. I told her. But I won't play the bank anymore. We ate in a strange truce. She tried small talk. I gave small answers. Before we left, she touched my arm. You're still invited to Sunday dinner, she said. No strings. I'll think about it, I said, and meant it literally. Not as a test, not as manipulation, just as a choice I could make without a bill attached. Back home, I stood in my quiet kitchen and looked at the calendar. No red due dates for a house I didn't live in. No text overlays asking for just a little. A space where an autopay used to be. It felt like a room after you moved the heavy furniture. The grooves still in the carpet, the air a little different, the floor easier to sweep. I wrote Chloe a recommendation for the bookstore to keep her on staff. I helped Max set up his own budget app. I blocked Jenna for a week when she got nasty, then unblocked her when she sent a 2-line apology that wasn't perfect, but it was something. I don't owe anyone my peace. I'm not a villain for choosing it. I'm not invisible. I'm a person who stopped a machine that only ran if I kept feeding it. If there's a moral, it's ordinary. Love isn't measured in dollar amounts. And real help has receipts and respect. I won't fund another adult's emergencies. I won't apologize for boundaries. I won't let you've got enough turn into we get to take it. I still make coffee at 6:10. I still get to work at 7:40. I still come home to plants that are somehow surviving. And when my phone lights up now, it's mostly boring things. Max's cat asleep like a croissant. Chloe's work schedule. A photo of shoes with the caption paid. It's not dramatic. It's better. It's mine. Have you ever felt like you were the family's ATM? Or maybe you're the Owen in your family right now. Tell me your story or what you would have done down in the comments below. I really want to know.